Hey everybody, we're back again. We've had such a great amount of talented women here tonight, but right now I'm here with Kim Lloyd, a comedian, as well. I don't know. We'll talk a little bit about what kind of comic group you're with,
Mhm,
because I know Michelle has the group, but I don't know if it's
mhm.
a solidified group or not. But how long have you been a professional comedian?
I am fairly new to this, so
Okay,
I've been
yeah.
doing it for about 8 months now,
8 months.
So
Okay.
pretty,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Post COVID, things
hmm
opened back up.
hmm
You might have had a lot of time on your hands during COVID to think of jokes and things. I know we were all cooped up.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I work. My day job is as a personal trainer, online personal trainer,
Oh,
and
okay.
so teaching group classes, doing it on Zoom. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity to work material in to make things more interesting. So.
So, do you do any type of exercise thing? Like some people
hmm
would be the Peloton or the,
Yeah, I have my
yeah.
own app, Kim Lloyd Fitness. I have a Kim
Okay,
Lloyd
very
Fitness
cool.
app,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I work with clients all over the country, which is kind of nice. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's good stuff.
personal
Personal
trainer.
trainer, yeah.
Okay. So, Kim, let's talk a little bit about kind of your background. You grew up in Maine or?
I did not know.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm a Yinzer. So
Okay.
I'm from Western Pennsylvania. So
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, in the
Okay.
Pittsburgh area. So I grew up there. Spent some time in Colorado. Spent some time in New Mexico, Boston, and then been in Maine though for almost 20 years now.
20
So
years.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my dad is from Monroeville,
Oh
right
yeah,
outside
right
of, yeah,
on. Oh my
exactly.
God, you know what I'm talking about.
That's
That.
how all my cousins sound exactly like
Oh
that.
my
It's
God, I wish I was lying.
it's
Right? Yeah.
so thick that it's just why, but that sounds exactly like them.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
they have that, it's a use, what's the
Yins, yeah,
yins? Yeah.
Ewan. So Ewans,
Ewans.
Ewans is what they'll say, and
Yeah.
they'll and then it got shortened to like Ian's, Yinzer.
Now,
So,
did you ever have that
oh
accent?
my,
Yeah.
yeah, I did, and I do. In fact, I'm going home this weekend, and
And it'll
it'll
come
come
back.
right back
Yeah.
out. I
Right.
have it, absolutely, yes,
And were
yes.
you right in the actual city of Pittsburgh or kind
Nope,
of
a
those
little bit
suburbs?
outside of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
city.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then I went to college in Erie, which is a couple hours north of Pittsburgh, and but yeah, I grew up probably about 80 miles outside of Pittsburgh, actually.
Okay,
So.
okay. So kind of as you said, you travel around a lot, but you just got into comedy recently. Said you always been into personal training and the fitness side of things. Was that
Yeah,
something? Was
kind of, but not really. I've had 29 jobs,
okay,
which is kind of my joke, but not joke. So I worked as a coach for a long time, softball coach, which is so shocking when
right?
people see me, and they're like,
Yeah.
but so yeah, so I worked as a coach for a long time. I worked in athletic administration. I was a journalist for a while back when like newspapers were in print.
Yeah, yeah,
Was
yeah.
was a thing. So I did all kinds of different jobs, but I came up here and I was working at one of the local colleges, and my position was eliminated with budget cuts, and I was already kind of training a little bit. I mean, I was training myself, and so I got certified as a trainer, and did an internship in Boston, and that was almost 10 years ago now. So
Okay.
yeah, so doing it for like 10
So
years.
and what led you to get the comedy bug to get up on stage? Was
So
it?
this is what's really funny is that I always wanted to do it,
Yeah.
and I think I'm learning a lot of comedians have a story like this, but I was in seventh grade. I told a joke to my teacher in front of like the whole
Yeah.
class, and he was like, "Oh, it's all in the delivery." He said, "If I would have told that joke, I would have had people rolling on the floor." And it was like one of those artist moments where you're like, well. So I didn't really think about comedy for a very long time. And then a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. And then when you're in the hospital with cancer, you start thinking about all of the things that you would like to do.
Yes.
And comedy was on, pretty high on the list.
Yeah.
So that and actually going to a Steelers game because tickets are wicked
Yeah,
expensive.
exactly. It's a very popular.
So yeah,
So that's kind of interesting. So it was a life kind of
mhm,
changing moment where it's like, hey, if I don't do it now, or also
yeah.
kind of conquering fears. Did you find that you had any kind of fear or trepidation getting up there and doing that side of things? It's I've found that hearing about comedy is one of the biggest fears that people have, or just being in front of people,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, comfortable being in front of people because of coaching and being in
coaching.
classes,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
being up with the intention to make people
Right,
laugh is
where
a
you're the
very.
solo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's they
exactly.
laugh, they don't laugh. It's
Right.
all on you.
It's all
So
on you.
yeah, so
Yeah.
lots of definitely lots of discomfort, and you have to get your nervous system gets all fired up about it, and so you have to kind of learn to overcome that. And I actually just took a comedy class in New York City last week, which was a very good test of that sort of overcoming that fear of getting up and just trying it. And for me, it's like, for a lot of people probably, but I'm like, the worst that happens, I don't know. I don't have cancer, right? Like,
Exactly right.
So you're like, nobody laughs. Okay, that's the
Yeah,
worst that happens. So
right. The floor of that isn't as bad as
Yeah.
dying or things like that.
Yeah.
Dying on stage isn't as bad as dying
No,
in real life.
no. I've died at some open mics for sure.
It died at
So,
some
yeah,
open mics.
no doubt.
And
yeah.
I'm a fan of the idea that taking classes in comedy or learning, because it does seem like it's something that you have to figure out certain basics to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
people think it's instinctive, and there is instincts and there's funny
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
but it does help to learn.
Yeah,
Like, the
you learn that
background
it's a
stuff.
craft.
Right,
And I took a class with Tim Farrell, who is in Portland,
local
and
guy, right?
he was my introduction to the class. And you're absolutely right. There's a craft to it, to the setup, to the punch, to all of it. So
Now, before you have to take off to the next thing, you had an interesting story about were you at a convent at one point?
correct,
Yeah. Okay,
So that was that's actually one of my routines. So
Yeah.
at some point, I'll deliver it. But
Yeah.
I spent my senior year of college living in a convent.
Yeah.
I went to a Catholic college, and I was in the convent with the intention to be. I hadn't taken vows, but I was intending to be a nun, and I realized I was gay. I brought a man home to the convent one night, so that's there's a story around that too.
Yeah. And the whole story you have to pay
I was
to
gonna
go
say,
see it at the show.
I
Save it
usually
for
say
the
you have to buy me dinner, but yeah, you
right.
got to
Save
come
it
to
for
a
the
show.
act. But it's interesting. So the part of the hint to the story is that you knew you were gay, but you brought the guy maybe because you wanted to get kicked out.
It was it was a very confusing
time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, he was like, your place or mine, and I was like, oh boy, well, okay, my place it is. So, yeah. So
that must have been a shocker for him.
I'm sure some guy named Sean in Erie, Pennsylvania is like, you guys will never believe what happened one night.
That was a
chick,
story
man,
forever.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, Sean, it was a crazy night.
If you're out there, Sean.
Exactly.
Thanks for the Long Island iced tea. Sorry about the finish of the night. Yeah.
Exactly. So where can people find you, and where online if they want to look you up?
Yeah, thank you. So KimLloydFitness.com. I've kept a fitness blog there for over 10 years now. And so also Kim Lloyd Fitness for my my Instagram and Facebook. And now you'll find, along with exercise videos, some stand-up videos mixed in there as well. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you so much for having me. I
appreciate it.
really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back, guys. Thanks.